The 2025 Canadian federal election took place on April 28th, and one of the most controversial ridings in the country was a new one and just happened to be right here in Halton. Milton East, Halton Hills South was a hotly contested riding, with the two frontrunners being Liberal candidate Kristina Tesser Derksen and Conservative candidate and former MP and MPP Parm Gill. The unofficial results posted on election night showed that Parm Gill had won the redrawn riding by 298 votes. But after validating the numbers, Elections Canada then reported that Liberal Kristina Tesser Derksen won by 29 votes. And thus, it went to a full recount, which eventually saw Kristina Tesser Derksen win by only 21 votes. But a win is a win. And the process itself was not quick. And thus, in catching up with MP Tesser Derksen this morning, I took her back to that time and asked what she did while waiting for those votes to be recounted.
The recount itself, and then the actual waiting for the submissions to be done and the judge to make their decision. So it was 3 weeks altogether from election night until I got the final word. And of course, during that time, all of my colleagues who had been elected regularly were in Ottawa getting onboarded. So, I was a little bit behind the eight ball, but we got caught up. But yeah, those couple weeks, at that point, I had done everything I could do from an election perspective, from a campaign perspective. I had knocked all the doors, I had done all the meetings. And so it was really just a matter of trying to remain serene while the counting happened and the process did its thing. So, I just busied myself with work and stuff in the community. And the night that I knew I was awaiting the actual result was pretty, that things did get stressful that night. I was a little bit anxious, obviously. And I didn't get the call until 5 minutes to midnight on that evening. So right to the bitter end. And when my campaign manager called me and told me, yeah, congratulations, you won by 21 votes. So
21. Wow. It's like you're at a blackjack table, except you're in the world of politics, 21 being your lucky number now. If you ever have a jersey, I expect that to be on the back of it. Number 21. So listen, you are such a busy person with your career. You were a lawyer, along with that, a wife, you've got kids. And now with this new position, you're in Milton and Georgetown, but along with that, you're spending a lot of time in Ottawa as well. I'm curious how the adjustment has gone for you personally as well as professionally.
Yeah, the adjustment's been great. We had the month of June where I was going back and forth to Ottawa, being in the House of Commons. So we had those, 4 or 5 weeks, and then we were back in the riding for the summer. So I had about a month of onboarding and getting my stride and figuring out the traveling, the rhythm of the House of Commons and the schedules. And then I was right back in the constituency where I focused on setting up the local office, getting staff onboarded. So it was nice to have that break kind of quickly after the initial introduction to the House of Commons. Now, of course, we're back. But yeah, the transition, the traveling, just, learning how the flights work and the trains, and we've driven a couple times. You mentioned my family, my spouse obviously has a career here in the riding that he has to be mindful of. Kids are older, so they don't need me as much, I guess, but they're thrilled for me. They did come up to Ottawa for my swearing in and got a taste of the city and kind of a little bit of the work that I do. But yeah, it's been actually a really good transition. Lots of support. Folks at the House of Commons are extremely supportive, whether it's my colleagues in government, even folks across the aisle who I've sat down and had coffee with and talked about experiences. They've been there before too. MPs who've been doing it a long time, they remember what it's like to kind of like first day of school kind of feeling and learning how to navigate everything. So it's great to have that advice and experience to lean on as well.
Well, first of all, may I just say, kids always need their mom. They might tell you they don't. Kids always need their mom. And I know you're still going to be there despite a little bit of travel and such. But I'm curious what you personally are passionate about that you think that you can use your position to assist with.
Yeah, and this is something about kind of finding your place in the whole machine of government, because you cannot champion every single cause, obviously. You won't get anything done. So in kind of finding what it is that I want to focus on, I'm going back into my past and the things that have always caused me to feel passionate about the work is really about palliative care and hospice. That's something I've been involved with for a long time. So talking to people about, national palliative care strategy, or looking at ways that we can connect grassroots community groups that are trying to do fundraising, connect them with their provincial government for funding, and what can the federal government do to step in and help as well. So that's something that I'm exploring right now. Had a few meetings and plan to discuss with the relevant ministries and my colleagues in government. So that'll be something that I want to focus on. And again, leading from my career as a funeral director and having worked in long-term care, and again with the palliative care stuff, I'm interested in the development of law around MAID, medical assistance in dying. And this is a developing area of law that is not without its controversies, and for good reason. So that's something that I'd like to be involved in a discussion in as well with stakeholders, and we're all really stakeholders in this, because it's potentially something any of us could avail ourselves of in the future. So I think it's important as that law develops that we have people who are mindful of what's at stake, what the impacts could be on communities and families are involved in that conversation. So that's something else that I plan to get more involved with.